and younger generation. We ask that if you have any children, to please bring them to these events. The most important development we want to share with you is on the fundraising front. As mentioned before, Dr. Alisha and brother Zakir Karmali did a fantastic job in persuading the community to help this organization financially. Alhamdulillah. And by the grace of Chaharde Masoomin, we were close to raising almost $70,000 during Ashra Awwal. A special thanks is due to Dr. Zahra Raoji, who individually pledged $10,000 to this community center. May Allah increase her tawfiqats. Due to the efforts of Sister Shala Naqvi and her team, approximately $25,000 were raised from the women's side alone. It speaks volumes when all members take such an interest in the well-being of Masoom and give whatever is possible within their means to see this center flourish. With that being said, just because we were able to raise such a large amount of money during these past 2 weeks does not mean we do not need additional financial support. This is your community center, and if we want to get the most out of it, it is critical that you donate as much as possible. It costs money to organize events and bring these speakers. It costs money to maintain the operation of this building and pay its bills. It costs money to make sure that the facilities here are up to date and modern. For example, we still have not been able to fix the east elevator. We have a desire to renovate the parking lot and level it. We still have a lot of work to do as a community. The fact that we are a community means that we all have to collectively pitch in as a community. Don't think of donating money to Masoom as a waste of money. This money is only going to be spent for your benefit. It is an investment for your religious experiences. It is an investment to help your children learn about the Ahle Bayt. And as you are aware, we have been accountable for every dollar spent. You can trust us to spend it wisely and for the benefit of the community. Thank you for your continued support. Inshallah, this level of support will only increase throughout the year. Please let us know if you have any suggestions. This is your center, and we want to do whatever is possible so that you can feel like it truly is your center. Thank you for your time. May Allah bless you and your family and keep us on the right path. Wassalam.
अब मैं हुज्जत इस्लाम के ब्लॉक आबा मौलाना सैयद अब्बास एलिया साहब से गुजारिश करता हूँ कि तशरीफ़ लाएँ और ज़ेब मिंबर हों आवाज़ बुलंद सलावात।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي ليس لأوليته ابتداء ولا لأزليته انقضاء، وانحسرت الأوصاف عن كنه معرفته، وردعت عظمته العقول، والذي لا تواري عنه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا. ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيد البطحاء سيد المرسلين والأنبياء أبي القاسم محمد المصطفى، وعلى الجوهرة القدسية البتول العذراء سيدة النساء فاطمة الزهراء، وعلى بعلها أمير المؤمنين وبنيها الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. لا سيما على بقية الله وحجته الكبرى الذي بيمنه رزق الورى، وبوجوده ثبتت الأرض والسماء، ولولاه لصاخت الأرض بأهلها، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من حين عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: يا سلمان، من أحب ابنتي فاطمة فهي في الجنة معي. صلوات. Our Holy Prophet has said that man ahabba Fatima ibnati, whoever loves my daughter Fatima, he is in the paradise along with me. Nuru ibnati Fatima min Nurillah Azza wa Jal, wa hiya afdal min as-samawati wal ard. The nur of my daughter Fatima is from the nur of Allah, and she is superior than the heavens and earth. When Rasulullah says that she is superior than the heavens and earth, it means she is afdal and superior than Ahlus Samawati wa Ahlul Ard. Samawat and Ard themselves, the subject of my speech is tonight, for those of you who were not present in the previous two speeches, we were talking about the concept of the love of Hazrat Zahra in Islam, Hubb Zahra, and its status. Love of Hazrat Zahra Salamullah Alaiha is iconic, is something which is a sign of the Iman and the sign of the success of a believer. And when Prophet says that she is superior than the heavens and earth by themselves don't have any significance. The significance of the heavens is because Ahlus Samawat, because of the dwellers of the heaven. Just like the significance of the earth is because of Ahlul Ard, because there are certain individuals present on the face of earth who are valuable in the eyes of Allah. And Prophet is telling us that my daughter Fatima is superior than the heavens and earth, which means that she is superior than all those who are present in the heavens and all those who are present on earth. So definitely in the heavens there are angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. In the heavens there are angels who are muqarrabeen of Allah. Even in the angels we have darajat, even among Anbiya we have darajat, even among A'imma alayhim salam we have darajat, even among Shuhada we have darajat. So don't be surprised when I said even in A'imma we have darajat, because the Holy Prophet himself has said, Al-Hasan wal-Husayn, Sayyida Shabab Ahl al-Jannah wa Abuhuma khayrun minhuma. Hassan and Hussein are the two leaders of paradise, and their father is better than them. So we in the Isna Ashari belief system believe that Amirul Mu'mineen wa Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib is the most superior of all the Imams. He is the most afdal among all the rest of the Imams. No one can parallel the highness of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Even Hazrat Zahra used to call him Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is the status of Imam Ali alayhi salam. No one can be called Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is where somebody comes to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam and asks that if I want to call Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam, I want to say salam to him, what shall I address him with? What should I say? Should I say, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, and say salam to Imam Sahib al-Zaman? Obviously the nur of the Imam has already been created. The question there's a room to ask this question. It's a valid question. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, no. This is the laqab, that's the title, which is specific to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salatu was salam. Instead, you should say, instead Imam is teaching him to say, and teaching all of us as a matter of fact, to say, Assalamu alayka ya baqiyat Allah. That's how we address the Imam of our time. Baqiyatullahi khairul lakum in kuntum mu'mineen. How Quran says, Baqiyatullah is khair for you if you are believers. So, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, what I was saying is that even among A'imma there are darajat, even among the Shuhada there are darajat. Our Urafa say the level of Habib ibn Mudahir al-Asadi salamullahi alayhi is way higher than the level of Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. All of the Shuhada of Karbala are great, but Hur used to work in the army of Taghut, Yazid's army. Isn't it right? Whereas Habib ibn Mudahir is the one who never thought of serving for a moment in the army of Taghut and Yazid or Muawiyah. So there is no comparison between the high level of Hur and the high level of Habib ibn Mudahir. It takes the knowledge and ma'rifat to distinguish those levels. تِلْكَ الرُّسُلْ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Quran says. So we learn that even among the messengers Allah made levels. So in the heavens there are so many angels present, and even the angels have darajat. We have muqarrabeen among the angels who are very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have hamalatul arsh, those of the angels who are carrying the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isn't that right? So they are not ordinary angels. And in the heavens we have Jibreel, who is Sayyid al-Malaika. So we have all those angels, and then we have some of the Anbiya who are present in the samawat. We believe رَفَعْنَاهُ مَكَانًا عَلِيًّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talking about Prophet Idris alayhi salam, says that he has been raised him to makanan aliyya. So Hazrat Idris alayhi salam, we believe, is also alive. He is someone who is from the time before the time of Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. For those of the Muslims who have doubts about the existence of Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam and his long life, For those of the ignorants who still have doubts about the long life of Imam Sahibul Zaman alayhi salam, have you not recited the ayat of Holy Quran that talks about the existence and life of Prophet Idris alayhi salam, who's still alive? He is the one who belongs to the time before Prophet Nuh, but he's still alive. Isn't it right? And then we believe in the heavens is Prophet Isa alayhi salam. Isn't it right? Who is also alive. And definitely he is going to come and pray, Yusalli khalfahu Isa ibn Maryama. The hadith of the Prophet, authentically narrated from both the sides, informs us that when Imam Mahdi alayhi salam would appear, Isa, the son of Mary, will come and pray behind him. So this is another evidence for those who still did not open up their eyes and still did not realize that the imamat and walayat is superior than nubuwat and risalat. For those of the believers who still did not understand, and in the eyes of Allah, imamat and walayat, this mansabun ilahi, this divine position is higher than the divine positions called nubuwat, the prophethood, and risalat, the messengership. For those who still did not understand, look at the hadith of the Holy Prophet where he says that Isa, son of Mary, will come and pray behind Imam Sahibul Zaman alayhi salatu wassalam. If the Imam who is holding the mansab of walayat and imamat was not afdal than Isa, there is no room for Imam to lead the prayers for Isa alayhi salam. Instead, Isa would be leading the Jamaat for Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Isn't it right? But we don't have a concept of mafdul, leading and doing the imamat for the fadil and afdal. Anyone who is inferior is not supposed to lead in the presence of the superior. That's how it goes in Islam. In the presence of a superior person, superior in terms of knowledge and taqwa, has to come forward and has to be brought forward, and the inferiors need to stand behind him. That's the way it goes in Islam. So despite the fact Prophet Isa enjoys the position of nubuwwat and risalat, but he has to pray behind Imam alayhi salam, who is not a Nabi and not a Rasul, but enjoys a position and mansab, the divine position of walayat and imamat, which is afdal than the mansab of nubuwwat and risalat. जब इमाम असर के पीछे पढ़ें ईसा नमाज, देखना अफजल nubuwwat से इमामत हो गई. That's what Ash'ari has said, rightfully so. Nubuwwat and imamat and walayat is definitely afdal than the mansab of nubuwwat and risalat. So we find that in the heavens we have Prophet Isa alayhi salam, and on the earth we have Prophet Khizr alayhi salam, and he belongs to the time of Prophet Musa. Ala nabiyina wa alihi wa alayhi salam. And all these personalities which I just mentioned, all of them have a longer life than the Imam of our time. So those who have doubts that how can Imam be alive with that long life, and we have three examples in front of us. Isn't it right? Right in the light of the Holy Quran, we understand the long life of Prophet Idris and Isa alayhi salam. For a believer in Quran, there is no room to continue doubting the long life of Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. وَعَجَّلَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فَرَجَهُ الشَّرِيفِ. So, Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha is superior than all those prophets and messengers who are alive in the heavens, and the angels who are present in the heavens, and all those, some of the Prophet Khidr who is alive on earth, and all those personalities and awliyaullah who are present, including Imam Sahibul Zaman alayhi salam. She is superior than Imam Sahibul Zaman alayhi salam. This is how high she is. Noor ibnati Fatima min Noorillah. Her Noor is from the Noor of Allah. Imam Hassan narrates that I saw my mother praying in the night. La zalat qa'imatan sajidatan. She was constantly standing, doing sajda in her mihrab, altar. Just like I gave you a few of the examples in the previous majalis, why we believe this Nuraniyat, where does it come from? Isn't it right? These are the reasons that we need to remember. So nobody can be like them, but we have to follow their footsteps as much as we can. So she was standing throughout the night. She was up doing the sajdas and ibadat and qiyam and sujood and ruku and tilawat and dua and munajat. And hatta in falaqa amudus subh, till Imam Hassan says the dawn break. Till the time of the dawn breaking, till that time. And she was constantly naming the mu'mineen and mu'minat. That means doing dua one by one, mentioning the names of the mu'mineen of the community. Can you imagine how great is this? And I said to my mom, لَمَا لَا تَدْعِينَ لِنَفْسِكِ. Why don't you do dua for your own self? Imam Hassan didn't find Hazrat Fatima doing dua for her own self. These are the adab. It seem to be very small issues, but these are very great issues that we need to learn from the life history of Ahlul Bayt. Whenever you want to do the dua, we are told to bring the rest of the mu'mineen, give them the priority and preference over our own selves. When you are doing dua for the rest of the people, the malaikatullah, the angels of Allah do dua for you. Which is better, you yourself doing dua for you, or the angels who are ma'soom and infallible, they do dua for you? What is a better option? Lots of people have hajat, isn't it right? That's why I always say to the mu'min, if you are have a hajat, you have a need, you have a dua towards Allah, which is not answered. You know, one of the best ways to get your own prayers answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever you have a hajat, you think for yourself, is there a mu'min around in my community who has a need and I am able to fulfill his hajat and need? If you can go and fulfill the hajat and need of another fellow mu'min brother and sister, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the guarantee that He's going to fulfill your hajat. Because the hadith teaches us, Man kana fi hajati akhihi al-mu'min, kana Allahu fi hajatihi. Whoever is in the hajat, whoever is working to fulfill the hajat and need of his mu'min brother, Allah will fulfill his hajat. Allah will take care of his hajat, in other words. That's how it works. If you want your du'as to be accepted, you do du'as for others. Now the sirat of Ahlul Bayt, isn't it right? So they are giving preference to others over themselves throughout their life. Isar in every matter. And that's where Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha replies back to her son that Bunayya al-jar summaddar. Such a short and comprehensive response. That my dear son, the neighbor, and then the house. That means you need to give preference to the neighbor first, and then your own house. Not that we give preference to our own self, self-centeredness, first bringing our own issue, our own points ahead of anyone else. That's not how you're going to get Nuraniyat. You have to give preference to others. Ignore your own needs. Forget about what you need. Focus on what they need from you. Even when it comes to the Imam of our time, we need to follow the same principle. Instead of we turning towards the Imam only when I have some hajat, I have some problem, I have somebody who is suffering, I have one of my children is ill, or I lost my job. Instead of turning to Ahlul Bayt, that would be, I'm sorry to use the word, a selfish approach. Isn't it right that we turn to Ahlul Bayt, if we turn to Ahlul Bayt only at the hour when we stand in need? We stand in need of them all the time, as a matter of fact. But we perceive like this, that at the time when we have some specific hajat, that's where we should turn to them. Otherwise, how many people remember the Imam of the time? For the very reason, what does my Imam expect and need from me? How many people have that approach? Is there anything I am supposed to do towards Imam that he's waiting from me? He's the one who is actually waiting from us. You know, he's the one who is expecting. He himself has nothing to improve. He has no faults. There are no shortcomings in his life, personality, policies, behaviors, practices. He's absolutely perfect. The most perfect human being in the whole universe. And the commander-in-chief of the universe appointed by Allah. Al-Insanul Kamil Al-Akmal. The most perfect human. Reflection of Allah in all of His attributes and names of majesty and names of beauty. So we are supposed to improve ourselves. So this is how we need to approach towards this situation. Hazrat Zahra Salamullah Alayha has this Nuraniyat because of all these reasons. How she is doing this worship. How she is doing the isar and giving preference to the needs of others. You know, sometimes in the history we find they don't have money. So Hazrat Zahra is sending her chadar. Imam Ali alayhi salam takes the chadar or the cloth, various narrations, to that famous rich Jewish person in the city of Medina and gives this chadar, this Nurani and holy chadar of Hazrat Zahra sallallahu alayha, or her cloth, there are various narrations, to that Yahudi person and borrows some money from him. How much important is that chadar? Remember the story when Imam Rida alayhi salam gave his abba to De'bal. When De'bal al-Khuzai recited his famous qasida in the history, this which qasida in Arabic we call it in the history Mudaris al-Ayat. That's the name of his qasida. And he said, I did my niyat that I would not read it in front of anyone else other than you. First person that I will read is you. Just the kind of love a person has towards the Imam. That's why the poets were very much valued by the community. Isn't it right? And whenever poets used to come, lots of people will automatically gather to hear what they're saying. Especially if a person is as high of a poet like De'bal, is one of a kind in the whole world in those days. One of a kind, top level Arabic poet of the whole Arabic world. And he's not reading his qasida. That's a big deal. Until he comes all the way, travels the long distance to Marv, the capital of Harun's government was Marv, and that's where he comes and meets with the Imam and recites his qasida. Imam alayhi salam gives him his abba and said, value this abba, because for 1,000 nights I have prayed in this abba, and in each night 1,000 rakats of prayers have been prayed. خروج إمام لا محالة واقع يخرج على اسم الله والبركات يميز فينا كل حق وباطل يقضي على النعماء والنقمات. What a great qasida that he has written. And then Imam Rida alayhi salam added his own 2 cents. He had added his own shi'r in the qasida and said, shall I not add into your qasida some, in other words, a shi'r with which your qasida and poetry becomes complete. And then Imam alayhi salam, when Imam alayhi salam, that's where he added, وَقَبْرٌ بِطُوسٍ يَا لَهَا مِن مُصِيبَةٍ. He added a shi'r about his own self, that I see. De'bal was talking about all the Ahlul Bayt, one by one, what has been done by the Ummah towards the Ahlul Bayt. One by one, all those majazir, mazalim, atrocities, zulm that the people did towards Ahlul Bayt. He's mentioning one by one for every Imam. So he says, in other words, the problems that I see a grave in Tus, and what a problem that person would face. Debal said, Mawla, I don't see any grave of you Ahlul Bayt in Tus. And he tells him that soon I will be buried there. And that's where, later on he goes forward and says, he has the share about the 12th Imam, and when he says the share about 12th Imam, Imam Rida alayhi salam stands up and he puts his right palm over his head in the respect of Imam Sahibul Zaman alayhi salam. So Di'bal al-Khuzai was given this abba. And now Imam Ali alayhi salam is taking the cloth or the chadar of Fatima az-Zahra. Definitely, this chadar is no less than the abba of Imam Rida alayhi salam. And he gives this chadar or the cloth, and they borrow some money. And this Yahudi guy, he puts the chadar in the inside room of the house. We are talking about the Nuraniyat of Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha. And then after a while, his wife enters into the room and she sees a huge nur and light, immense light coming out of the room. And she rushes into the room, sees the light is coming from that chadar of Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha. And that person gathers all his family members. Some of the narrations say 70 members of his Jewish community present. He gathered all of them to witness what is going on, this miracle, this mu'jiza. And they all come and see this nur coming from the chadar, and all of them embrace the religion Islam of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. This is the Nuraniyat of just a chadar of Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha. The people who have been affiliated from any which way with Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha are some of the most Sa'id and Sa'adatmand and spiritually successful individuals of the history of humankind. If you have any connection with Hazrat Zahra, when she marries, who was holding the reins of the animal that she was riding? Salman al-Farisi. None but Salman al-Farisi, who belongs to Minna Ahlul Bayt. Salman deserves to have this great privilege given by the Ahlul Bayt to him, that he is holding the reins of the animal which Hazrat Zahra is riding. When she would appear on the Day of Judgment, the hadith of the Holy Prophet says that when hadith of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that when Hazrat Fatima would appear on the Day of Judgment, an announcer will announce, Nakkisu ru'usakum hatta tajuza Fatima alayhi salam. Lower your heads so Fatima can cross. This is no longer alamut tashri' FYI. We, the humans and jinns right now in this life, are in alamut tashri', the world of legislature, where we have been given the freedoms, quote unquote. Isn't it right? Freedom to choose the right from the wrong. Widely abused by majority of the human beings. Majority of the sins committed by humankind is done on the name of freedom. Isn't it right? That's what they use the word in the West. Freedom means freedom to violate the law of the Creator. Isn't it right? So that on the Day of Judgment, we don't have no freedom, because Alam al-Tashri' has ended. The world of the Sharia legislature has ended. Our test has been ended. Isn't it right? Now we enter into a new state of light. In that stage which we call, this is Yawm al-Qiyamah, Alam al-Jabarut. Now you don't have the freedom. As soon as a command comes from Allah, every single existence will automatically bend their heads. Zero freedom and zero choice, and zero rebellion and tughyan and tamarrud, zero rebellion against the commands of Allah. It is no longer the world of dunya where we may do or may not do. That's my freedom. No, there is no freedom. You are no longer in alam al-tashri'. Isn't it right? My teacher, Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, Hafidhahullah, was saying, why Allah sent down the Sharia? What's the purpose of sending the Sharia? The purpose why Allah sent down this legislature on the greatest soul of the humankind, the soul of Rasulullah, is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, see, we have Alamut Tashri, the world of legislature where humans and jinns are part of that. The rest of the existences, we classify them, they don't belong to Alamut Tashri. Instead, we use the word Alamut Takween while we refer to them. They're all part of Alamut Takween. In Alamut Tashri, all the sinning and all the rebellion and arrogance against the commands of Allah is found only and only in Alamut Tashri. The humans and the jinns, a huge number of humanity, and the jinns are the ones who are doing the rebellion and sinning. When you go to the Alamut Takween, the rest of the existences, there is zero disobedience towards Allah. Unthinkable for any existence to go against what Allah has commanded. It's not part of Alam Tashri, it's Alam Takween. So you can hold a carrot in front of a tiger and you can wait for 1,000,000 years and the carrot is not going to consume the tiger. You would be wasting your time, because if you do that, you would fail to realize that tiger does not belong to Alamut Tashri. Tiger belongs to Alamut Takween, and there's zero rebellion against God. They do as commanded, period. And you can keep some meat in front of a horse, and you can wait for 1,000,000 years. Horse would die of hunger, but not consume the meat, because there's zero rebellion against the divine commands. Allah did not allow him to consume the meat, and Allah did not ask him to do that. He does what is commanded only. He would die but not rebel. It's only the humans who have this nature, isn't it right? The share that Imam Rida alayhi salam recited, which is actually from Hazrat Abdul Muttalib alayhi salam, his share that Imam Rida recited, so now it is part of the hadith. When Imam MASOM alayhi salam says something, it is part of the hadith, and it's mu'tabar and hujjat now. Isn't it right? So Imam Rida recited the share of Hazrat Abdul Muttalib alayhi salam, where he said in the share that Ya'ibun nasu kulluhum zamanan, all the people complain against the time. وَمَا لِزَمَانِنَا عَيْبٌ سِوَانَا, and our time doesn't have any aib and defect other than us. We ourselves are the defect. Isn't it right? فَإِنَّ الذِّئْبَ يَتْرُكُ لَحْمَ ذِئْبٍ, because a wolf leaves the flesh of a fellow wolf. You give the flesh to a wolf to consume, a wolf is never going to eat the flesh of his own fellow wolf. That's not going to happen. وَيَأْكُلُ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَيَانًا, whereas some of us, the humans, are consuming some of other human beings. Isn't it right? There are humans who are killing and consuming the fellow human beings. A wolf is not ready to eat the flesh of a fellow wolf. So this is how the humans are, whether in the name of collateral damage or democratization of the Middle East. You name it, give the label whatever you may wish to. At the end of the day, if you're violating the law of the Creator, you are violating the law of the Creator. Isn't it right? We care about the innocent civilians, isn't it right? So we have a very high moral standards taught by the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, and we condemn these nonsense, evil Al-Qaeda and Taliban people, isn't it right, who have been slaughtering the Shias in their heydays in Afghanistan, cutting the neck of a Shia boy half the way through, and then doing the khatak dance around this Shia person who is now shivering into death. But they were not terrorists back then. They were supported and funded. Isn't it right? We used to call them terrorists even at that. We have a very high moral standard. And we are proud over our morality. And even today, we condemn those evil Al-Qaeda heart-eater terrorists because we care about the innocent civilians. Isn't it right? We have a very high moral standards. When it comes to politics, we remember the divine responsibility, and morality runs and dictates our politics. Not if it works, it's okay. No, we don't believe like this. Even if it may work for you and your interests, if it is immoral, it is never okay. That's the difference between the siyasatun ilahiyya, the divine Islamic politics, and the worldly politics of Muawiyah and company. That's the difference between the siyasatun alawiyya and the siyasat of Muawiyah. Please say salawat. So what I was telling you is Salman al-Farsi had the privilege to hold on the reins of this animal that Hazrat Zahra is riding. On her way towards the house of her husband, she donates the dress of her own marriage. We are talking about Nuraniyat, the reasons of Nuraniyat of Hazrat Zahra. Some of the reasons. There is an unfinishing list. And how much attachment a person has emotionally, or, it's a sensational issue, it has so much memories, isn't it right? So many other reasons. But she's not attached to the least with anything of this world. So she is ready to give away everything for the sake of Allah. This is how she is. So this is the Nuraniyat of Hazrat Zahra. And those who are attached also became Sa'adat Mand, successful, some of the most unique individuals of the history. Ayman, Salamullah alayha. This great lady for whom she is the student, she is the khadima, she is the serving person who is proudly serving Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha. And Prophet has said in his hadith that Ayman is one of the ladies among the ladies of paradise. There are very few individuals in the history, as a matter of fact, whom Prophet has prophesied in their lifetime, giving them the basharat and glad tidings of Jannat and paradise. Al-Jannatu tashtaqu ila arba'atin. Prophet said, Jannat is mushtaq and keen, eager towards 4. And then Prophet mentioned the name of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and then Salman and Abi Dhar and Miqdad. Please say salawat. When Ayman is going in the desert after the shahadat of Hazrat Zahra, she made her intention, she's not going to stay in Medina. There was too much suffering and too much painful for her to see all the dhulm that has been done against Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha. She can't stand it. She was so close to Hazrat Zahra, she can't stand that dhulm. She committed that I won't stay in this city any longer. She was fed up with the zulm of the people and those zalimeen. And she headed towards the desert. And the narration says when Ayman salamullah alayha was going in the desert, and she got thirsty. Naturally in the desert and burning heat, you get thirsty. And she prays to Allah, are you going to kill the servant, in other words, servant of Fatima Zahra in the desert? As soon as she says that word to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the water is sent from the heavens for this personality, and she says, I did not become thirsty for the next 7 years of my life. This is how Hazrat Ayman salamullah alayha was. And look at the greatness of Hazrat Fidda alayhi salam. When we find that Imam Ali alayhi salam is inviting Rasulullah in his house for the iftar, for breaking the fast, and Prophet accepts the invitation. It is mustahab in Islam. There's a lot of ta'keed and emphasis. Whenever a mu'min invites you for an invitation in his house, you accept it. Even if you are fasting. Obviously not the wajib fast. We can't break the wajib fast, but for iftar of the wajib fast, yes. But even for a mustahab fast, if some moment invites you in the middle of the day towards some food, offers you some food, offers you some drink, the Shariat of Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam teaches us, accept his invitation. Accept the invitation. And don't even tell the moment that you are fasting. That would be riyah and showing off. Why are you telling him? Isn't it right? Accept the invitation and break your fast. If you break your fast according to the teachings of the Sharia for the sake of his iman, qurbatan ilallah, in the respect of the iman of that moment, you accept his invitation, and without telling him, you break your fast, you get more sawab upon accepting the invitation, da'watul mu'min, and breaking your fast, you will get more sawab than continuing your fast. Now you understand how much importance Allah gives to us, the respect of a mu'min, one mu'min individual, how much he is respected. His da'wat should not be rejected. What about the da'wat of all these people in Islamic ummah who are suffering in pain? if not with lisanul qal, with lisanul hal. If not orally, with their very situation and condition that they are going through, their actions, loud and clear, is calling upon the rest of the Islamic Ummah to support those innocents. Are we not supposed to respond towards those innocents and civilians? من سمع مناديا ينادي يا للمسلمين فلم يجبه فليس بمسلمين. We believe in that messenger who said, whoever hears the voice of an announcer, "O Muslims, come for my help," in other words, and he did not respond to their call, he's not a Muslim. If you don't respond to the call of one fellow Muslim brother asking for your help, you are not a Muslim in the hadith of Rasulullah, even though you may be fasting or praying and all that. That's how important the da'wat of. So what would be the importance of the da'wat of Amirul Mu'mineen wa Imamul Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? So Prophet accepted, he showed up, and he did the iftar with the rest of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And when he was about to leave, Hazrat Fatima invites her dad for tomorrow's breaking of the fast. And Prophet accepts. Tomorrow, Prophet shows up as a guest of Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha. As Prophet was departing, Imam al-Hasan al-Mushtaba alayhi salam invites him tomorrow so that Prophet can be his guest. Prophet accepts. Likewise, on the next day, Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada al-Husayn ibn Ali alayhi salam, he invites the Holy Prophet. And when Prophet was leaving on that last night, Hazrat Fidda salamullah alayha, this servant in the house of Hazrat Zahra, she's so great. We can't even understand the highness of this servant. So she invites the Prophet, in a discreet way. And Hazrat Zahra was not present when she was inviting. So on the next night, we find Rasulullah comes. Hazrat Zahra says, because she was not present, a Prophet said, "I am the guest of Fidda." That means I'm not coming upon your invitation tonight, I'm coming on the invitation of her, in other words. And Hazrat Zahra says to her, "Why didn't you tell me so we can prepare some food?" There was no food available. And they're like most of the nights in the house of Ahlul Bayt, that was the situation. A lot of the nights. And so we find that, as a matter of fact, the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt never ever used to eat food full. And they never ate full in their entire life. So Fidda replies that I am going to bring food with the barakat of you Ahlul Bayt. She goes into the next room and she starts, the narration says, she put her head in the sajda. Imam Rida alayhi salam has said, أَقْرَبُ مَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدُ مِنَ الرَّبِّ وَهُوَ سَاجِدٌ بَاكٍ. The closest a servant can be, the closest a servant gets towards the Lord is when he's in the sajda, sajidun bak, and he's crying. This is the closest you can get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She puts her head in the sajda and she prays to Allah that I have, which I am paraphrasing all these narrations, I have invited your Habib and beloved in the house. So don't embarrass me in front of him. As soon as her dua, she did that dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the food from Jannat and paradise for this khadima of Sayyidah Zahra salamullah alayha. This is the azamat of a servant of the house of Hazrat Zahra. She has that much nuraniyat. Banu Israel used to have man and salwa, the food coming from paradise. We have the servant of Hazrat Zahra who can bring the food of paradise upon one dua of hers. So we find my teacher Ayatullah Jawadi Hafizahullah used to say, he said that in this surah Hal Ata, we also call it Surah Al-Dahr or Surah Al-Insan. This surah is revealed in the fadilat of Panjtan, Al-Khamsa At-Tayyiba. And my teacher used to say that Hazrat Fidda Salamullah Alaiha is part of the fadilat of this surah. That's the status of Hazrat Fidda Alayhi Salam. So this is the Nuraniyat that these people gained just because they were accompanying this greatest lady of the universe, Hazrat Fatimatu Zahra Salamullahi Alaiha. So we find Hazrat, the riwayat which is Allama Amini has narrated that I wanted to tell you. He says in this narration from the, that كان آدم وحواء جالسين وجاءهما جبرائيل وأتى بهما إلى قصر من ذهب وفضة شرفاته من زمرد. Adam and Hawa was sitting, and Jibreel came to them and took them towards a palace made of gold and silver. شرفاته من زمرد. Its pillars were made of emerald. فيه سرير من ياقوتة حمراء. It had a bed made of red ruby. وعلى سرير قبة. Over the bed there was a dome. من نور. Dome made of nur and light. فيها صورة. There was a face in that dome. Peace say salawat. We are talking about the Nuraniyat of Hazrat Zahra Sallallahu Alaiha in these nights and her love. So there was a dome of Nur, and in that dome was a face. Ala ra'siha tajun. On the head of that face was a crown. Wa fi udhunayha qurutan min lu'lu. And in her ears were two earrings of pearls. وَفِي عُنُقِهَا طَوْقٌ مِّن نُور. And in the neck was a necklace of nur. That's where Hazrat Adam alayhi salam definitely, he didn't know about that, and he inquires from Jibreel the detail about this matter. فَتَعَجَّبُوا مِن نُورِهَا حَتَّى أَنَّ آدَمْ نَسِيَ حُسْنَ حَوَّاء وَقَالَ مَا هَذِهِ السُّورَةِ. Hazrat Adam asked Jibreel, whose face is this? قال Jibreel. Jibreel said, Fatimatu. This face belongs to Fatima alayhi salam. Please say salawat. Wattaju abuha. And the crown, that is basically her, that's her father. Wattawqu zawjuha. And the necklace is her husband. Wal quratan. And the earrings, that stands for, that's Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein alayhim as-salatu was-salam. فَرَفَعَ رَأْسَهُ إِلَى الْقُبَّةِ. Hazrat Adam alayhi salam raised his head towards the dome, and that's where he discovered فَوَجَدَ خَمْسَةَ أَسْمَاء مَكْتُوبَةٌ أَسْمَاء مَكْتُوبَةً مِّن نُور. He discovered 5 names written from nur and light, and that was there. Anal Mahmud wa hadha Muhammad. I am Mahmud and this is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa anal a'la wa hadha Aliyun. And I am the greatest and this is Ali. Sallallahu alaihi Muhammad. وَأَنَا الْفَاطِرُ. And I am the creator. وَهَذِهِ Fatima. And this is Fatima. وَأَنَا الْمُحْسِنُ. I am the one who performs the good. وَهَذَا الْحَسَنُ. And this is Hasan. وَمِنِّ الْإِحْسَانِ. And all the good deeds are from me. وَهَذَا الْحُسَيْنِ. And this is Hussein. When Adam alayhi salam read these names, this description, these lines which were written there, Jibreel said, Jibreel said, Ya Adam, احفظ هذه الأسماء فأنت تحتاج إليها. Jibreel said to Adam, remember these names because you stand in need of these names. Then when the narration says Allah sent down Adam and Hawa. So Adam cried for 300 years. 300 years is a long duration. Al-Bakka'una Khamsa. The hadith teaches us those who cry a lot. There are 5 people in the history. 5 people in the history of humanity who cried the most. And one of those Bakka'un is, the first one actually, is Prophet Adam alayhi salam. He cried for 300 years straight. Summa da'a. And that's where, when he was crying for that long, and one day Jibreel came and said, and reminded him of those names. And that's where he started to pray in the names of the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and his tawbah was accepted in the barakat of the names of Panjatan. This is the status of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. An-nujumu amanun amanun li ahli samawat. That's the Madmuna Riwayah. Prophet has said that the stars are a security for the dwellers of heavens. إذا ذهب النجوم, if the stars go away, that means they got devastated, destroyed, nothing will survive in the samawat, in the heavens. It would not survive, in other words. And the Prophet said, Ahlu Bayti amanun li ahlil ard. And my Ahlul Bayt are a protection for the dwellers of earth. If my Ahlul Bayt go away, this earth will not survive. Isn't it right? If you just take this hadith from the Holy Prophet, and those of the brothers, those of the Muslim brothers who say that the azwaj and wives of the Prophet are also part of Ahlul Bayt, my question would be, is there any of the members, any of the wives of the Holy Prophet surviving today? Prophet had already said, if my Ahlul Bayt would go away, isn't it right? The earth will be devastated. Isn't it right? Azwaj have already expired. They all are gone from this world. Isn't it right? But the earth is not destroyed. Earth still survives. So we must understand that there is some member of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam still surviving on the planet, and because of the barakat of that member of Ahlul Bayt, nothing of this world is destroying. So we find that when that is the highness of Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha and the Ahlul Bayt, despite this, the fact you find the Ummah behaved like this, that they are isolating the caravan of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam away from the water and food for 3 days. Actually, for more than 3 days. And Imam al-Hussein and his Ahlul Bayt are hungry and thirsty. And we find that they are not having any mercy over the qarabat of Imam al-Hussein with Rasulullah. A lot of qarabat. The same Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is the one who was being carried over the shoulders. Prophet sometimes used to carry Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein on the day of Eid over the shoulders. Behaving like a camel for these great children. And when somebody on the street says to the Prophet, what great ride is this? That means, how great are you who are giving the ride to them? Prophet replies back, how great are the riders? How much qarabat and relationship and closeness does Imam Hussein has towards Rasulullah? When Imam Hussein comes over the back of the Prophet while he is doing the sajda, and Prophet was about to raise his head, Allah sends down Jibreel not to raise your head until Hussein gets off your back himself. And Prophet has to say, Prophet repeated, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdi 70 times, 70. It became the sunnat of Rasulullah till the day of judgment. We are also allowed to say, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 70 times. This is the respect of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And this is the qarabat and closeness and relationship that Imam Hussein enjoys towards Rasulullah. But despite the fact, you find that after the Asr of Ashura, these people are now, they are whipping the slashes on the back of the Ahlul Bayt. They are whipping with the slashes over the back of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. They are slapping over the face of Sakina salamullah alayha. They are taking away the earrings of the daughter of Imam Hussein. They are poking their spear into the back of the lady of Ahlul Bayt and snatching away the hijabs of the ladies. When Imam al-Hussein's janazah is lying there, look at the azamat of Hazrat Zainab. She comes close to the janazah of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Hada Husaynun murammalum bid-dima. This is the Hussein, which is, ye khoon mein aghishta. Maula Imam Hussein, خون میں آغشتہ مقطع الاعضاء، جن کے جسم کے حصے ٹکڑے ٹکڑے کر دیے گئے. قتیل و اولاد البغایا، بد کردار خواتین کے اولاد کے ہاتھوں قتل ہونے والے. وہ بناتو کا سبایا، اور آپ کی بیٹیاں وہ قیدی بن گئی ہیں. الاللہ المشتکا، ہمارے شکوہ اللہ کی جانب ہے، اللہ کے خلاف نہیں، یعنی اللہ کی جانب ہے. کیا عظمت ہے شہزادی زینب کی. اللہم ربنا تقبل منا هذا القربان. معرفت زینب کا کمال ان الفاظ سے سمجھ میں آتا ہے. شہزادی کیا کہہ رہی خدا سے؟ اللہم ربنا تقبل منا هذا القربان، پروردگارا ہماری اس قربانی کو قبول فرما. کیا عظمت ہے زینب کی. اس رات بھی جب عاشور کا دن ڈھلا، شہزادی زینب کی نماز شب قضا نہیں ہوئی. سعید ابن طاؤس نے نقل کیا کہ ملائکۃ اللہ نے تعجب کیا زینادی زینب کی خلقت پر. کتنی عظیم خاتون جس کے ساتھ اتنے مصائب گزرے، ام المصائب، مگر اس رات بھی اسی شان سے نماز شب ادا ہو رہی ہے. کیا عظمت ہے شہزادی زینب کی. انتی بحمد اللہ عالمۃ غیر معلمۃ و فہمۃ غیر مفہمہ. امام سجاد نے فرمایا تھا بحمد اللہ، آپ ایسی عالمہ ہیں جس کو تعلیم نہیں دی گئی، یعنی دنیا میں کسی نے کچھ نہیں پڑھایا، یعنی اللہ کی طرف سے اشراق قلبی کے ذریعے سے علم لدنی آپ کو بخشا گیا. وہ فہمۃ غیر مفہمہ، ایسی صاحب فہم شخص ہستی ہے کہ جن کو اللہ کی طرف سے فہم عطا کیا گیا، کسی اور نے فہم نہیں دیا. کتنی عظمت ہے شہزادی زینب کی. اب میر کاروان شہزادی زینب ہے. جب یہ لٹا ہوا قافلہ عزادارو کربلا سے کوفہ کی جانب جا رہا ہے، بازار کوفہ میں علی و فاطمہ کی بیٹیوں کو تماشائی دیکھنے کے لیے کھڑے. علی و فاطمہ کی بیٹیاں بے مقنا و چادر اس قافلے کے ساتھ جا رہی ہیں. نوکے نیزہ پہ کچھ سر بلند ہے. تماشائیوں کا مجمع ہے. کچھ لوگ کوفے والے چھتوں پہ کھڑے ہیں جو تماشائی بن کے تماشا دیکھ رہے ہیں. کچھ بازار میں کھڑے ہیں. اتنی حیا نہیں ہے کہ اپنی نظروں کو جھکا لے، علی کی بیٹیاں فاطمہ کی بیٹیوں کی طرف نگاہ نہ ڈالے. اور بے شرمی کی انتہا. اس کے بعد صدقے کی کھجوریں تقسیم کرنا شروع کی. جناب ام کلثوم نے کیا فرمایا تھا کہ دیکھا کہ کچھ لوگ رو رہے ہیں تو آپ نے کیا فرمایا کہ تقتلنا، یہ خواتین جو گریہ کر رہی تھی نا، ان کو دیکھ کے فرماتی ہیں کہ تقتلنا رجالکم و تبکی علینا نساؤکم، تمہارے مرد ہمیں قتل کرے پھر تمہاری عورتیں ہم پہ گریہ کر رہی ہیں. وہ تماچا مارا ہے جناب شہزادی ام کلثوم نے ان کی غیرت پر، ان کے کردار پہ کہ تم اہل بیت کو قتل کر کے اس کے بعد مگرمچھ کے آنسو بہا رہے ہو کوفے والوں. اس کے بعد یہ اب جو کھجوریں تقسیم، صدقے کی کھجوریں اہل بیت کی سادات کو تقسیم ہو رہی ہیں، جو سید السادات ہیں ان پہ تقسیم ہو رہی ہے. جہاد ام کلثوم نے صدقہ الگ کر دیا. الصدقۃ ان الصدقۃ علینا محرمۃ, صدقہ ہم پر حرام ہے. بچے کے ہاتھ سے کھجور لے کے الگ کر دی. ایک روایت میں ہے کہ ام حبیبہ بھی آگے بڑھی اور آ کے کہتی ہے شہزادی زینب سے کہ جو میری والی کھجوریں وہ صدقے کی نہیں ہے, میری والی کھجوریں نظر کی ہے. شہزادی زینب نے پوچھا, آپ جانتے ہیں نا ام حبیبہ کنیز ہوا کرتی تھی مولا حسین کے گھر میں مدینے میں, چنانچہ یہاں اب کوفے میں رہ رہی ہے اور کہتی ہے کہ میری کھجوریں نظر کی ہے. شہزادی پوچھتی ہے کہ کیا نظر تھی تمہاری؟ ام حبیبہ کہتی ہے میری نظر تھی کہ اللہ مجھے توفیق دے کہ میں اپنے مولا امام حسین اور شہزادی زینب کی زیارت نصیب کروں, ان کی زیارت پہ جاؤں مدینہ. اب جو شہزادی نے یہ سنا تو کہا مدینہ جانے کی ضرورت نہیں, زینب خود چل کے تمہارے آ گئی. اب یہ سننا تھا, تڑپ گئی, چاہنے والی ہے نا, تڑپ گئی. کہاں ہے میری شہزادی زینب؟ تڑپ گئی, نہیں پہچان تو نہیں رہی, تڑپ گئی ہے. شہزادی نے فرمایا اگر زینب کو دیکھو گی تو پہچان لو گی, اگر زینب کو دیکھو گی تو پہچان لو گی. ایک مرتبہ کہا کیسے نہیں پہچانوں گی, ارے وہ تو میری آقا زادی ہے, وہ تو میری شہزادی ہے. کہا ایک مرتبہ شہزادی کہتی ہے کہ میں ہی زینب ہوں. اب جو شہزادی نے اپنا تعارف کرایا مگر ابھی بھی نہیں پہچان سکی. ارے حق ہے ام حبیبہ تمہیں نہ پہچاننے کا, کیونکہ کہاں شہزادی کو بے مقدار چادر دیکھا تھا. حق ہے کہ شہزادی کو نہ پہچانو, کہاں زینب کو رسن بستہ دیکھا تھا. اس کوفے میں تو درس تفسیر پڑھایا کرتی تھی نا میری شہزادی, اس کیفیت میں کہاں دیکھا تھا. اب ام حبیبہ, عجیب جملہ کہا ام حبیبہ نے عزادارو, کہتی ہے میری زینب کی تو ایک علامت ہوا کرتی تھی, کیونکہ پہچان تو نہیں پائی نا ابھی تک. کہتی ہے ایک علامت ہوا کرتی, وہ کبھی بھی اپنے بھیا حسین سے جدا نہیں ہوتی تھی. کیا علامت ہے؟ صحیح بیان کیا, یقیناً یہ بات سچ حق ہے, کبھی جدا نہیں ہوتی تھی. یہ سننا تھا. شہزادی نے نوکے نیزہ پہ بلند مولا کے سر کی طرف اشارہ کیا, وہ حسین کا سر ہے, زینب ابھی بھی حسین سے جدا نہیں ہوئی. الا لعنت اللہ علی القوم الظالمین وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. إلہی بحق الزہراء وَأَبِيهَا وَبَعْلِهَا وَبَنِيهَا وَالسِّرِّ الْمُسْتَوْدَعِ فِيهَا. پارلہا پرچم اسلام کو سر بلند فرما, پرچم کفر و شرک اور نفاق کو سرنگوں فرما, انقلاب اسلامی کی حفاظت فرما. تمام علماء ربانیین, تمام مراجع کرام, بالخصوص رہبر انقلاب کا سایہ ہمارے سروں پہ برقرار رکھ. تمام مجاہدین اسلام, بالخصوص جو سیدہ زینب سلام اللہ علیہا کے حرم کا دفاع کر رہے ہیں, ان کی نصرت و تقویت فرما. تمام مومنین کی جان و مال و آبرو کی حفاظت فرما. تمام مومنین کی مشروع حاجات کو پورا فرما. تمام مومنین کو وظائف شرعیہ پر عمل کرنے کی توفیق عنایت فرما. بانیان مجلس کی مشروع حاجات کو پورا فرما. ان کے مرحومین کی مغفرت فرما. ہماری اس قلیل عبادت کو قبول فرما. ہمیں اس وقت تک اس دنیا سے نہ اٹھا جب تک امام زمانہ ہم سے راضی نہ ہو جائیں. ان کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما. ہم سب کو ان کے انصار و اشیاء میں قرار دے. ربنا تقبل منا انک انت السمیع العلیم بجاہ محمد و آلہ المین. 5 مرتبہ آیت کریمہ کی درخواست کی گئی ہے ایک مومن کی طرف سے. ایک مومن علیل ہیں, ان کی شفا یابی اور صحت سلامتی کے لیے 5 مرتبہ آیت کریمہ. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. امن یجیب المضطر اذا دعاہ ویکشف السوء. أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. ایک سورہ فاتحہ کی درخواست ہے جناب مرحوم انیس اکبری صاحب کے ایصال ثواب کے لیے. یا حسین
پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی. پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی. اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی. اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی. پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی. پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی. اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو. کیا ہو کسی شب کو جو ہم گھر میں نہ آئے, تم ہم کو نہ پاؤ تمہیں ہم بھی نہیں پائے. تڑپو گے نہیں درد سے وعدہ کرو بی بی. پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی. اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی. ارے بیٹھا کرو کچھ دیر چراغوں کو بجھا کر, سمجھا کرو اس خاک کو ہے لاڈلی بستر. بالی کبھی یوں ہی نہیں پہنا کرو بی بی. پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی. اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ ارے کچھ دیر تو یہ فرض کرو ہم نہ رہیں گے, باقی نہ رہے ہاتھ کوئی رکھنے کو سر پر. ماحول یتیموں کا بھی سوچا کرو بی بی. پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی. اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو. عادت ذرا تنہائی میں رہنے کے بھی ڈالو, تصویر تصور میں اسیری کی بنا لو. آزاد پرندوں کو نہ دیکھا کرو بی بی. پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی اچھی نہیں یہ بات ارے اصغر کو نہ مانوس کرو پیار سے اپنے اکبر کی عروسی کے نہ دیکھا کرو سپنے صغرا کی قریب نہ بیٹھا کرو بی بی پہلو میں کبھی ماں کے بھی سو یا کرو بی بی اچھی نہیں یہ بات نہ رویا کرو بی بی یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین تھا ثانی زہرا کانوہا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کانوہا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کانوہا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا بھائی میرا پیاسا قتل ہوا بھائی میرا پیاسا قتل ہوا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کانوہا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا عباس کا کتنا خون بہا شانے بھی کٹے مشکیزہ چھدا عباس کا کتنا خون بہا شانے بھی کٹے مشکیزہ چھدا کس حال میں وہ گھوڑے سے گرا کس حال میں وہ گھوڑے سے گرا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کانوہا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا 18 برس والا اکبر شبر کا دل لیلا کا جگر 18 برس والا اکبر شبیر